Hello and welcome to Industry Spotlight. In this series I'll be putting various individuals and companies from the industry in the spotlight. I'll be having a look at people's careers in the anime industry. In this first episode I'm going to be looking at none other than Hayao Miyazaki. Being one of the most universally recognised names in anime, I thought he would be the perfect specimen for the first episode. Miyazaki was born in 1941 in a town called Akebono-cho near Tokyo. His father was the director of an aeroplane manufacture company, a company that would make many of the planes used in the Second World War, a time that had quite the effect on a young Miyazaki, and would eventually go on to influence a lot of his anime work. Miyazaki started his career as an artist at Toei Animation in 1963. There he worked as an in-between artist on various projects. His first real bit of recognition was when he sent in a script for an alternative ending to a project he was working on. His submission would then go on to become the actual ending to Gulliver's Travels Beyond the Moon in 1965. After a mere few years of working at Toei Animation, Miyazaki's talents were being noticed. Miyazaki continued working at Toei Animation for a number of years, stepping up to the job of key animator and handling storyboards for many big projects. In 1971, he left Toei Animation to join A Productions. Here he moved up from assistant animator to co-directing such projects as Lupin the Third. He stayed there for a number of years. He then left A Productions, who were now called Nippon Animation, in 1979. He then moved to TMS Entertainment to direct his first feature film, The Castle of Cagliostro. But it was in 1984 that we started to see the Miyazaki that we all know and love, with his release of Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, an adaptation of his own manga. We get to see many of Miyazaki's styles in this movie, both environmental themes and the appearance of aircrafts that would reappear many times in the future. And it was in 1985 that Miyazaki would really start to change anime as we knew it. With funding from Tokuma Shoten, Miyazaki and a number of colleagues gave birth to Studio Ghibli, a studio that would become one of the most successful anime studios of all time. Miyazaki's first project under the name of Ghibli would be Laputa, A Castle in the Sky, in 1986. He would then go on to create the iconic My Neighbor Totoro in 1988, and Kiki's Delivery Service a year later in 1989. In 1997, Miyazaki created one of his most notable works, Princess Mononoke. This film was a huge turning point in not only the success of Studio Ghibli, but in anime in general. It broke Japanese box office records and made its way successfully around the world. Although Miyazaki took a short break after the release of Princess Mononoke, he was by no means finished with spreading his influence and success. It was in 2001 that Miyazaki made anime history with his film Spirited Away. Not only was it critically acclaimed, winning multiple awards, but also tremendously successful financially, making over $300 million at the box office. Spirited Away is largely credited as one of the first films to really put anime on the map at a worldwide level. He would then go into yet another mini-retirement, only to return in 2004 to complete production on Howl's Moving Castle. He then took another break to oversee his son, Goro Miyazaki's first film, Tales from Earthsea. There were a lot of complications during the production of this movie, as Miyazaki believed his son wasn't ready to independently direct and produce his own film. The film was released in 2006, but didn't go down well despite having the famous Miyazaki name behind it. For the next few years, Miyazaki would work on his next film, a film that would be called Ponyo. Miyazaki was at a point in his career where he wanted to create something a little different, and push the limits of the animators. He done this by making a film that was almost completely out at sea. Ponyo was then released in 2008, and made a comfortable $200 million. The Secret World of Arrietty would be released in 2010, but Miyazaki would take a much lesser role in the production of this film, giving the responsibility of director to Hiromasa Yonbayashi, showing us signs that Miyazaki might be considering a more permanent retirement soon, and would like to pass down the torch to other Studio Ghibli employees. In 2011 he would again help with another film, From Up on Poppy Hill. In 2013 Miyazaki made a more surprising announcement that he would be creating another film, The Wind Rises, a much more personal project for Miyazaki. It was on September the 6th, 2013 that Miyazaki announced his retirement at the age of 72. You can never know for certain, but it's very probable that we won't see Miyazaki taking on any major roles in the future. If you can't tell already, Miyazaki is one of the most important players in the evolution of Japanese animation. Not only has he brought us countless anime classics, but he has introduced and helped multiple people into the anime industry. It's very easy to tell that without Miyazaki's contribution, anime would be a mere fraction of what it is today. He has contributed an inconceivable amount of influence to anime, and truly deserves to be held as one of the most important names in the industry. So thank you very much for watching the first episode of my new series. Of course this is only the first episode, so feedback is very much welcomed. If you want to suggest someone for me to look into next, then post them in the comments. You can help me out by clicking the like button and sharing this video around, and if you want to see more of my videos, you can subscribe. So thank you very much for watching.